Now we have to think about diverging lenses. Diverging lenses, remember, just have slightly different rules, but there are a lot of similarities between the three lines we're going to draw. There is another big difference, is when I draw my lens, you'll notice I now do this line with a kind of an upside down point, and that's because I want to represent a diverging lens where the ends are thicker than the middle. And this will let you draw one without having to draw the actual shape because the shape is messy. So this is how we draw it. We draw it as a line with the thick ends to show diverging. Now do remember the light is going to spread out. So that's going to make our lines a little bit different. But there is some similarities as well. So we're going to think about our three lines. Our first line starts off very the same. It starts off by going through the top of the object and going straight in. But now instead of going down, like the converging, it's going to go up. And I have to know at what angle. Well, it's going to go up so it lines up with the secondary focal point. So I'm going to put my ruler here, and I do need to change my angle a little bit so that I go through that secondary focal point, through that, and that will help me line up my arrow. So there we go. Oh, got to change the color on that too. So that will give me my first rule, rule number 1. So you'll see in the description it says the beam goes through the top of the object, then straight to the lens, and then up in a line with the focal point, right? Up in line with that focal point. Okay, rule number 2. In rule number 2, again, kind of similar to the other one, I am going to go through the top of the object and I'm going to use the secondary focal point, which you'll notice is now on the other side, right? It's on the other side because it's now the reverse of the original. So if I go in, I'm going to go through the top of the object, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim at this, which means I need my ruler to do that, right? That's why I've put this nice convenient ruler here. Is I'm going to go through the top of the object and I'm going to aim at this secondary focal point. So when I do this, I'm going to draw my line, make sure I'm in a color that makes sense, and I'm going to go through the top of the object, down through the focal point. But I'm going to stop with when I hit the lens, because remember at the lens, what does it do? It bends. It's just aiming at that focal point. So I can move my ruler out of the way. And then what does it do? Just like the other one, it goes straight. It goes straight on through. So these should be parallel with each other afterwards. That's rule number 2 for a diverging lens. Rule number 3, oh, beautiful. You know what? It's the same as the converging lens, because when you go through the optical center, it doesn't matter if it's diverging or converging, you end up going straight on through. And that's because it hits both the converging and diverging straight on, 90 degrees, no bending of the light, keeps on going. So this one is the same as the converging one.